Hey guys, my name is Haley, and today we're going to be filming my March wrap up. We're going to get the month right this time because I think I've said the wrong month this whole year. Also, I'm getting over a cold, so if my voice sounds like it's disappearing, it is in fact, and we're going to try and get through this and see how it goes. So, fun facts I only read six books in the month of March, which, if you've been here for a minute, you know that's not a lot for me. But I will say that one of the six books that I read was more than 1,000 pages. It was 1,026 pages, actually. And I was reading that in between working a lot. So I feel like that is like three other books in and of itself. So I don't feel that bad about it. Yes, we're going to get into this. I read a lot of these on ebook, but I do own the series that you're going to see me talk about that I'm probably going to scream about for the rest of the year. But we're going to start with the first book that I read, and that is Real by Kennedy Ryan. This was my third Kennedy Ryan book that I read, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. That's another thing about this month. I may have only read 6 books, but literally every single one of them was 5 stars, and you can't beat those odds. So this is the Kennedy Ryan I've always wanted to read. If you were around last month, you know I read the This Could Be Us, or what was the first one called? Before I Let Go series, that whole series. I'm so excited for that third book to come out. But anyway, this was the first book of Kennedy Ryan's that I remember everybody raving about, and I knew it had to deal with an illness. I did not know that the illness was lupus, and I actually feel like I learned a lot about lupus listening to this. I know some people in my life who had it, but I didn't know the specifics of it and the different like stages of lupus that people can have. So I felt this was very informative in that way. I also just really liked the tension between our two main characters in this book, and I gave it 5 stars. It is not my favorite Kennedy Ryan. My favorite is probably still This Could Be Us, but this is like a close second because I think I liked this a little more than Before I Let Go. But I really enjoyed this. I'm excited to read more Kennedy Ryan. I know she has a huge backlist, so I have no like shortage of books to read. And then I began my journey on the series that has taken over my life, and I read Spark of the Everflame. I do have all of the big, pretty hardcovers now. I also own the indie paperbacks, which I don't think you can see back there. I don't want to talk about how much money I spent on this series in the last month or so, but also, this has genuinely become one of my favorite romantic series, if not my favorite. Am I going to make that bold statement? I don't know. I will say that DM is by far my favorite female character I think I've ever read. I love her so much. But I want to make a whole video talking about this series, so I'm trying not to rave too much about it. But literally, this is the series that took over my entire month and my entire life. And I was reading it in between working so much over the last like 3 or 4 weeks. And it has kind of ruined me for other romanticies right now. There are other romantasy series I want to get to, but I don't think I will like any of them as much as this one. So I've made a mistake in like starting back on my romantasy journey outside of like Fourth Wing and such by starting with this one because I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the world. I'm obsessed with the different realms. I'm obsessed with the idea of the gods and the idea of the descendant in this. Like, this deals so much with so many like real life topics, but in a fantasy realm, and she has so much to say about wealth disparities and things like people thinking that they're better than others, whether that's a race thing, whether it's a wealth thing, all of that wrapped up in this really, really cool fantasy world with different realms. And each realm has its own specific, like, interesting thing. Like, in this, there's like a nature realm, and then there's like a desert realm, and then there's like a realm of like thought and like thinkers. And I don't want to get too much into this. For one, I don't want to spoil it, and for two, again, I want to make another video about it. But this entire series took over my life. So I read Spark of the Everflame. I read Glow of the Everflame, which, as you can see, is significantly larger also. These hardcovers are beautiful. Hold on. They got republished with... Oh my god, I can't do this. Hold on. This is a disaster. Republished in these beautiful hardcovers and the end pages. Ugh. all of them have this like embossed thing to the front of the cover. I don't even know how well you can see them on camera. Yeah, Spark has the woods. I'm not gonna lie, before I got into this series, I didn't know literally anything about it. I think I knew that there was like, I didn't know the word for it. They're called the Descended. I knew that there was like a race that thought they were better than other people, but that was like the extent of my knowledge. Nor did I have any idea how much I would love DM. I think the reason I love DM as much as I do is because she is the closest thing to me in a fantasy realm that I have ever read. When it comes to a lot of romantasy or like high fantasy, even, I feel like I just end up hating our main character because they do not do what I would do in any of these situations, and DM is the closest I have come to. She makes decisions that I would make. I don't know how else to explain that. I relate so much to her, and I love her so much, and I love what she does for the realms. But yes, I read those two. And then in between reading the third book, I read Creative Schools by Ken Robinson, who's a PhD, and Lou Aronica. And I annotated the crap out of this. I also read this on my breaks at work when I was trying to savor the rest of the Spark of the Everflame series, because the fourth book does not come out until next year, and I binged all three of these incredibly long books in 1 month. So I've made a mistake. But I did read this. This is about different ways of schooling and how different countries do it, as well as a lot of opinions, of which the opinions that he has and writes about in this, I agree with as a teacher, especially as a teacher who works with younger kids. It also made me want to look more into the Montessori method, which I do have a Montessori Montessori book, but I want to make a whole video talking about this and teaching and how kids learn best, because I feel like after my 8+ years in the realm of childcare, I used to be a nanny, and then I started working in like childcare centers, and especially now having been a sub and been to like 10 to 12 different centers, I feel like I have a good grasp on the differences in different schools, and I want to talk about it. So if you're here for the teaching stuff, please let me know, because that will motivate me more to do this. But I want to make a whole video about this. Basically, I want to make a video about every single thing that I read this month, which is a lot of videos for me to film. But then it took me 2 weeks to read this 1,000,000-page long book. Oh, these end papers are so pretty. Stop. I'm not gonna hurt the book. I'm not gonna hurt. Oh, this one's orange. This is Heat, which arguably is my favorite of the three. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. But yes, I will also say, as much as I love DM, I also really love Luther. I should put the dust jacket back on so we know what I'm talking about. Hold on. I love Luther. I don't think I've shipped a couple as much as I do. It looks so nice on camera. As much as I do DM and Luther in this. The last time I remember shipping a couple as hard as I do this couple is the My Mortar series, which, if you've been here for a while, I don't even know how far back those videos are. They're definitely on my channel somewhere. But the My Mortar was my favorite romantasy before romantasy was a thing back in the day when I first started BookTube. I can't talk today. I don't know why I decided to film. But the My Mortar was one of my favorite. The Bone Season series was my favorite series of all time, and I loved Paige and Warden in that so much. And the fifth book just finally came out, so I need to reread all of those because she revised them. But I have nothing compared. I've never compared a couple to Paige and Warden as much as I do DM and Luther. They give me the same vibes. So take that what you will, if you happen to have read both Spark of the Everflame and the Bone Season series. But I love these. I'm very, very upset that I read these a year out from when the fourth book is coming out, because she got traditionally published, if you didn't know, which is how we got these beautiful hardcovers. And she got picked up by, who is it? Atria Books. And they're republishing all of her books. So we have a long wait, but at least we have these 1,000 pages. I'm absolutely going to reread and annotate these. I read these on ebook and I annotated the crap of them on ebook, so I might go through the process of transferring all of my annotations. I always hate doing that because it takes forever, especially with how big this book is. I don't want to talk about it, but yes, this took up the majority of my month. I have a friend at the center I'm at right now who kept asking me, they're like, have you read this romantic? Because she also is very into romantic. She was like, have you read this one yet? Have you read this one? Like, she just read Quicksilver, and she also just read, what was the other one? When the Moon Hatched. She was like, have you got to those yet? Because she knows I own them. And I'm like, no, I haven't. Because I've been reading this for like 3 weeks. And then I had a little bit of a book hangover from those 5 books, mainly the Spark series. And then this came out in the middle of me reading that series. So, of course, I put it off for the 2 weeks it took me to read Heat of the Everflame. And then, literally 2 days ago, I had a whole day off, and I just sat and read this whole thing. I annotated the crap out of it. I need to actually go through and, like, highlight and such, because I could not put this down, and this may possibly be the best book in the series, and it has started me on... I originally was like, oh, I'm going to reread the series, and I was like, no, I need to see the hype. I saw everybody sobbing and crying over this all over the internet in the 2 weeks that I didn't read it after it came out when I picked up my pre-order. And I was like, never mind, I have to read that right now. And I was correct. And I cried a lot. You can, if you go look on Instagram, I don't know if the story will still be available, but I think I'm going to put it into a post because I sobbed. I saw everybody crying, and I was really okay up until the last like 20 pages, and then I just lost it. So yeah, I gave this also 5 stars, and I am currently planning a reread of the entire Hunger Games series. I'm currently debating whether or not I'm going to put just a video of me reading the books and annotating those, because I never annotated them and it was my favorite series back in the day, like everybody else. But also watching the movies, because they're some of my favorite movie adaptations, and I can't decide. So if you would like to see that video, I've seen like 3 people vlog them filming them reading the whole series, and I want to join in the party, even though I already read this, and most people did it previous to reading this. But that's not going to stop me, because now I want to reread the series anyway. So yeah, that's probably coming in the future whenever I find the time to do it. I have not been able to start another book since finishing Heat and Sunrise on the Reaping. So I was going to do a TBR in this, but quite frankly, the only books I want to read right now are the Hunger Games trilogy. And then I have a nonfiction. Oh god, where is that? I have a nonfiction by the same author as the Creative Schools guy. I think it's called Out of Our Minds. If I can find it, I'll put up a picture here. If not, it's somewhere in my work bag. But I'll probably read that in the next couple of weeks, because I really enjoyed having that to read on my breaks. And then I also am probably going to just put all of the Hunger Games books on my TBR. I literally pulled them out from like the double stack on my shelf, because I was like, it's time to do this. So that's the extent of my April TBR, to be honest. And my voice is disappearing, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you all enjoyed this. Please let me know if you can do a spoiler tag and then like leave space so that people can't see the spoilers, and you want to talk about Sunrise on the Reaping, please do. Or you can go follow me on Instagram and DM me there if you want to talk spoilers of Sunrise on the Reaping. Or the Spark of the Everflame series, if you happen to have read that. I'm all ears. I'm obsessed. The cliffhanger was brutal. I cannot. But yes, I hope you all enjoyed this. I don't even know if I've said this actually in a video, so I'm going to mention it now. I have changed my channel name and my Instagram and my TikTok to Haley's Rainbow Library. I've always liked Haley's Library, but I was never super into it. And I just had a aha moment like 2 weeks ago, and was like, oh my gosh, what if I was Haley's Rainbow Library? Because if you didn't know, I wear this, it's actually right here, this rainbow cardigan to work every single day, and I wear it, like, I have like 2 or 3 of them that I like switch out, but they're all the same. And I wear it to work every single day, so that a lot of the time, especially if I'm at different centers, the kids will recognize me because they recognize my cardigan. And there are certain centers I've been at who straight up call me Rainbow Haley, whether it's just to like remind people who I am or because they had a Haley that also worked there. So I've been called Rainbow Haley for like almost 2 years now, and I was like, that would actually be a really cute addition to my booktube stuff. So I have changed my name on this platform, on Bookstagram, and on TikTok. My book talk that I'm not sure is going to exist for much longer because we don't know what's going on with TikTok. But anyway, that is a little change that I made. I don't think it's that big of a difference, but it makes me happier, so that's what we did. But yes, if you have anything to say to me, please leave it something in the comments down below. And if you don't have anything to say but you want to boost the video and support me, if you're not subscribed, please go subscribe. I'm really trying to reach at least 1,000 followers this year. I have been stuck, and I never talk about followers on here, so I've been stuck at like the 550 or so subscribers for literally like 2 years, which to be fair, a year of that I took off. But I've been stuck at it for like 2 or 3 years, and I'm really upset because YouTube seems to not be happy with the fact that I took 2 years off, which I know that's my bad, but I'm not going to start a whole new channel just to like mess with the algorithm. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below and leave the fire emoji for fire is catching, because Catching Fire is my favorite of the series, and we're going to compare that to Sunrise on the Reaping here soon because those are neck and neck right now. But yes, I hope you all enjoyed this. I love that it was super chaotic. Thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys next time.